Hi and welcome to another episode of Toby's Barbecue Corner. Today we're making Toby's cheesesteak sandwich Philly style. Now what you need for it and how to do it, I'm going to show you in this episode. And this is what we need for today. Now obviously we need a steak, and this is a rump steak. We need some ciabatta, we need a clove of garlic, a little bit of soft butter. We need either one large sweet onion, two smaller ones, four small red ones, whichever onions you prefer, a couple of tablespoons of oil, salt, pepper, some cheese, mayonnaise, one small jalapeno, as well as your favorite rub. Now what you want to do first is, obviously, you want to have a nice marbled steak and you want to cut it in small little pieces. Now what I've done is I've put it actually in the freezer for about 40 minutes so that it's a bit harder and it makes it easier to cut those nice little thin slices from it. And obviously the thinner you go, the easier and quicker it will cook, and the nicer it will be later on your bread. Now I know that you usually use hoagie rolls for your cheesesteak sandwich. You can also use a ribeye steak. You can use provolone cheese. You can do basically anything you want. So I know that the traditional one is, with hoagie rolls, ribeye, as well as provolone. But we're doing things differently here because this is Toby's cheesesteak sandwich. Right, with the onions, what you want to do is you obviously want to peel them, and then I know some people like to have larger chunks or put them in strips. Or cut them in strips. Now I prefer little cubes, simply because I find it mixes nicer with the meat. They get a little bit of like sauteing from all sides. Yeah, I think just the texture is a lot nicer when you do that. So what I like to do is, the usual cutting style, just do it like that. And then you get your nice little chunks. But as I said, that's entirely up to you. I think, unless you really want to go for the original Philly cheesesteak sandwich, do whatever you like, do whatever you prefer. But with all that cutting around, I saw a new technique on YouTube, so I'm going to try it this time. So here we go. Wow, that was super easy. All right, back to old school cutting. So I like to give a little bit of color as well as a little bit of heat into my cheesesteak sandwich. So this is a jalapeno. It's actually not particularly hot, so I'm not going to bother taking out all the seeds. I mean, I might not be using them all, but maybe like half or so. And then we're just going to cut it into little strips as well and add it in with the onions. Now the final two prepping steps, so what you want to do is you want to take your bread, whether that be a ciabatta, a baguette, a hoagie roll, whatever you want to use, and you cut that open, but don't cut it all the way through, just cut it open so that you can actually fold it open, because we're going to give that a little bit of a toast on the barbecue. So just make sure you don't cut too far into it, because obviously you want your meat and cheese and all the other goodness to be right in here. So let's create some garlic butter. So what you want to do is you take one clove of garlic and just press it into the softened butter. And trust me guys, that will create a phenomenal flavor profile. And we're going to rub this all over our ciabatta bread. Just really work that in there. Obviously the more time you spend on this, the nicer it will be later on. And then lastly, right before we go outside, spread that obviously very liberally on your bread, and let me tell you guys, that already smells like true garlic butter. So this is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to finish this up and I'm going to see you outside. The flat top is heating up, and we're going to give our ciabatta a little bit of a sear. Now it did break apart, unfortunately, while I was putting the garlic butter on it, but don't worry about it. If it does, it does. Now we want to go with medium heat, because obviously we don't want to burn it, we just want to give it a little bit of toasting. A couple of minutes later, let's have a quick look, but it's smelling absolutely delicious, and this is really what you're looking for. So we're going to set that to the side now. What it will do is it will prevent the bread from getting too soggy when we actually put on the meat as well as the cheese and the vegetables. Right, for the onions and the jalapenos, I've actually moved it to the hotter zone. Let's add some olive oil to it. And let's put in the onions. And we're going to saute them until they're nice and golden brown. And in the meantime, the griddle will come up to the temperature that we need for the steak. Now if you want, and that's entirely optional, but you can season them with your favorite rub. So I'm going to use some Cajun rub. As I said, I like it a bit spicy. And then we give that a bit of a mix. Right, a couple of minutes later, they look fantastic, so we're going to remove them from the heat, set them to the side, and we're going to take care of our meat. Griddle is nice and hot again, so let's add some more oil. And then we're going to throw on our meat. Make sure you spread it about so it cooks nice and easy from all sides, and just leave it be for a couple of minutes so it gets a nice color. Now let's season it up. Just with a little bit of salt and pepper. But that already looks fantastic. The sear marks are awesome. About another 30 seconds later, let's put the onions back in. And we're going to mix this up as well. Make sure that meat and onion are nicely coated. And last but not least, let's add the cheese right on top. And we're going to close the lid, make sure that cheese melts, and then we're almost ready to serve. Right, the cheese is starting to melt, so let's mix it all up. And then we're going to remove it and put it on our ciabatta bread. Alright guys, all ready. So let's plate up. So let's take a good heap, put it right on top here, and doesn't that look absolutely phenomenal? I can't wait to dig in. Really, really nice. Let's put the rest on top there. And then what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to give you a center cut, because I want you to see how this looks from the inside. So there we go, all or nothing. And there we go, guys. And doesn't that look phenomenal? I'm gonna dig in now. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video about Toby's cheesesteak sandwich, Philly style. Now I have to admit, it was super delicious. It didn't actually need the mayonnaise, which I actually forgot to put on, so the mayonnaise should have gone on the bread shortly before putting the meat on, but I don't think I needed it, so I'm going to put it down as an optional down in the comments. Now if you did enjoy the video, I would appreciate a comment and a thumbs up. Please head over to that subscribe button for more great videos to come, and I hope to see you soon again at Toby's BBQ Corner.